Students, in this chapter, the third topic is historical sources. As already mentioned, we have at our disposal a number of historical sources which help us a lot in drawing a clear picture of this period. They can roughly be divided into two main types: archaeological and literary sources. The first, archaeological sources. In the archaeological sources, we include ancient monuments, inscriptions, and numismatics or coins. Ancient buildings include temples like Khajuraho, Bhubaneswar, Konark, Mount Abu, etc. Mosques like Jama Masjid, Moti Masjid, etc. Forts like Red Fort, Tughlaqabad Fort, Chittor Fort, Agra Fort, Gwalior Fort, etc. Pillars like Qutub Minar, palaces like Jaisalmer, Jaipur, Jodhpur, etc., and scores of other buildings. Inscriptions, whether on stone or plates of copper, provided important information about different aspects of the early medieval period. They have been found in large numbers scattered over a large number of villages and especially in temples. They provide us ethnic information about important events, important dates, the personal qualities of the rulers, the mutual relations of difficult rulers, about the specimens of art and the administrative measures. Sometimes the place from where these inscriptions have been found provides speculations about the extent of the empire of the certain rulers. Now, coins found in abundance through light on important dates and important historical personalities. Some coins give us information about certain important historical events. Undoubtedly, some information can be gained from them about the economic conditions of the country at that particular time. Now, literary sources, autobiographies, chronicles, documents, etc. About the early medieval period, 8th to beginning of the 13th century, we have derived important information from the writings found on palm leaves, birch, birch, birch barks, and skins, etc. About the later medieval period, 13th to 18th century, many books written on paper have been found. Some of these are autobiographies or memories, like Babar's memories and Jahangir's memories, which tell us many important things about different rulers in the first person. Certain their books are chronicles of different authors about the life and activities of rulers and dynasties. Certain documents pertaining to mutual treaty among the different rulers or the grant of land to the nobles are important sources of historical knowledge. There are many religious books which enlighten us on the religious condition, thoughts, and views prevailing on those days. Accounts for foreign travelers. Over the above, the literary work by indigenous writers, there are certain accounts by foreign travelers also. They generally give a true picture of the events as they had nothing to fear of the local rulers. Paintings. Sometimes literary works have an added attraction. Those which are illustrated with beautiful paintings are doubtly useful. In addition to giving general information, they throw light on the development of art, especially the art of painting during the medieval periods. Music. Though the Delhi sultans were adverse to music, the Mughal rulers patronized it. Babur himself could write songs and set them to tune. Humayun had set aside Mondays and Wednesdays for the listening to music. Akbar patronized many musicians. Among them, there was none who could be compared with Tansen. It is said that he had a magic in his music and could make the clouds burst into rain. Hindustani style of music flourished during this period. Akbar's successors too, except Aurangzeb, were patronized of music. Thus, music is also sometimes a good source of historical knowledge. It points out to the fusion of the Hindu and the Muslim cultures. So, students, in the Sultanate period, many Mughal rulers was the fond of music, and they raised the music in their reign through different musicians. That's all the chapter. Students, in this chapter, the third topic is historical sources. As already mentioned, we have at our disposal a number of historical sources which help us a lot in drawing a clear picture of this period. They can roughly be divided into two main types: archaeological and literary sources. The first, archaeological sources. In the archaeological sources, we include ancient monuments, inscriptions, and numismatics or coins. Ancient buildings include temples like Khajuraho, Bhubaneswar, Konark, Mount Abu, etc. Mosques like Jama Masjid, Moti Masjid, etc. Forts like Red Fort, Tughlaqabad Fort,